All right. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to. Good morning. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody today to the launch of PACnet 4.0 as well as M1. I'm pleased to be with you today. I'm going to be your host, Braden Mon, product manager for PacSize. For those of you who do not know me, I'm going to have a couple of other people with me today. Justin Floyd's going to be taking us through the PACnet 4.0 launch, and we've also got Brian Reed, who is somewhat new to PacSize, but he's going to be joining us remotely from Seattle, Washington. So with that, let me kick this off over to Brian to lead us off on the M1 launch.
Hey, Braden and Chris, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we've got you, Brian.
Well, welcome everybody. It's as a worldwide global company, it's always nice to do these launches. We don't get a chance to do them very often, and so we're testing out our global capabilities. Since I'm presenting from Seattle, you guys are in Salt Lake. People in Europe are listening, and we have all people all over the world listening. What we wanted to do today is we want to launch two products. We're launching a new M1 platform, and we are launching our new PACnet 4.0 platform. Next a week from now, the largest expo for our industry is PAC Expo. Will be in Chicago. We'll be officially launching the M1 platform at that program. So next weekend is is the public launch, and when we wanted to make sure that before we do the public launch next week, that we at least have internally let everybody know what we're going to say. The primary audience today is the company, but the primary people I want to make sure they're paying attention to is the sales enablement, sales and SCs, and people who will be asking and dealing with customers in the next couple of weeks here. So what we're going to be doing today is, like any presentation, I'm going to tell you up front what the message is. Braden and Justin are going to go through the details of the messaging, and then at the end we'll give you a summary. So the new M1 platform, the way we are positioning that platform is as a premium product that we're going to be targeting new customers who are looking for greater Z-fold efficiency, labor savings. The customer is probably a larger customer to help justify that, and he's probably should be doing greater than 2 million MSF. And he wants sometime in his future, he or she, the customer wants the ability to print either now or print sometime in the future, and they're willing to pay a small premium to get that functionality, that new enhancement. And then Braden will go over that, and then Justin will come up and talk about the new PACnet 4.0 with its enhanced user experience and interface, and which is focused mainly on our production customers. So with that, I'm going to let Braden go through the details and look forward to talking to you at the end. So Braden, back to you.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Couple of housekeeping items to go through before we dive right in. For those of you who are viewing this remotely, we will be having a Q&A session towards the end of the launch. You'll notice on the bottom right-hand corner of the YouTube screen that you can add comments. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to add those questions there, and we'll address those towards the end. We'll also be asking questions for people here in the audience if you guys have anything that you want to ask during the end of the presentation. So also, we will be making this available to all internal employees to view later on. If you guys want to rewatch it or pass it along to somebody who wasn't able to make it, we want to make sure that everybody knows as much as possible about the M1 and PACnet 4.0. So, all right, with that, we're really excited to talk to you today about M1. It is the newest machine from PacSize. The next year, the next 6 months are going to be really exciting for PacSize, but as far as machines go, but this is the newest and greatest machine to hit our customer base in the last several years. So we're really excited about this. Some of the key takeaways that we want to discuss today are some of the main features of the M1 machine. We want to talk about the cassette changer and how we've enabled that with this machine. We want to talk a little bit about the custom print and some of the capabilities of the M1. The multi-axis configuration of the machine. This is a pretty good, exciting use of the space within the machine to do as much as possible in a small footprint. And then number 4, we're going to talk a little bit about the global modular architecture and how the machine was actually developed and what usefulness this will bring to us in the future. So let's talk first about the cassette changer. So the M1 machine is the first integrated cassette changer that PacSize has developed. So some of you guys might be aware of the old cassette changer that we had, and it was basically just a bolt-on module that we had developed that was just intended to go onto, an EM725. So this is the first integrated cassette changer with PacSize. With the current setup, we can fit up to 8 bells onto the machine at the same time. This is in a 2x4 track configuration. Okay. Through a lot of the analysis that we've done, we've found that by adding 1 additional bale width, so say if a customer goes from 3 bales and can now add a 4th bale onto their machine, we're seeing trim percentages increase by anywhere from 5 to 10% from their current state today. So that equals savings dollars for our customers. Less bale changes means that we get greater efficiencies. If an operator is not changing bells as frequently, this means that they're not spending time behind the machine swapping out those bales. So that means that they can stay in production mode more frequently. We also found that there's going to be less travel time. So if you look at an EM735 with a 3.5 meter working width, the operator is actually going to have to move around less. So again, any kind of movement in a process flow is waste. So we found that the 2x5 or 2.5 meter working width was actually optimal in increasing or decreasing the travel time for operators. We've estimated the total savings. This is a very, very loose estimate. My analysis showed that we could save at least $10,000 per year. I kind of think that we're actually going to see more savings than that for each operator. And then just the ability to have multiple corrugated and board grades available on the machine at the same time. So if a customer has different packaging requirements, they would like to have better protection on some of their packaging. They can now have 2 or 3 bale widths of a double wall material and then single wall, or they could do a logo print. So for somebody who's shipping for multiple companies, they could have 2 or 3 branded random repeat prints loaded on the machine at the same time. Let's jump into the print. So this is the first PacSize machine that has on-demand print capabilities. We are a little bit limited in our first version of what we are going to be able to print, but right now it's a 2-inch height on the print, but it's continuous through the entire length of the carton. We found that a lot of customers are using print for informational messages such as handle with care, heavy, this side up. Some of the customers are using it for marketing information such as logos or branding information. And then also for box identifiers such as part numbers and box IDs. So we did a survey, and I would like to take a second to thank all of you who passed this along to customers and who took it themselves. But what we found was that our top use of printed materials via either label or on carton print was box ID number, product ID, and product description. Okay, so with the current capabilities that we have on the M1 machine, we believe that we can capture a very, very large percentage of what customers want to print on their boxes. So with the multi-axis configuration, this was a pretty cool thought process that PTAB took in developing this machine. So if you'll look towards the top right corner of the image, that's where corrugated material is going to actually feed into the machine. And so as the corrugate feeds through the machine, we've got multiple stations that can do different cuts or creases or printing as the corrugate moves through the machine. You'll notice that it comes in about a 45-degree angle. This was on purpose for two big reasons. Number one, if we had that module running horizontal along the ground, it actually makes for a deeper machine. So by tilting at 45, we actually saved a little bit of space. But also, the 45-degree angle helps to feed corrugate through the machine. So it reduces the amount of paper jams that we might see through the machine. We expect with the multi-axis configuration that we're going to have a faster rate of completion for creating cartons. And we've also got, probably one of my more favorite things is a side trim module. So as an operator traditionally has been working with a machine, the waste comes out to the operator and they have to move it off to the side. So with the side trim module, it actually takes the trim and deposits it underneath the machine, so that the operator no longer has to worry about this trim management portion. So the modules that we're going to have available today, we've got a printing module. We've talked a little bit about that. We've got a tool head sub-module. This is just the actual tool head that goes onto the long head modules that's right below. We've got the side trim module. We have a crosshead module and the changer module. In addition to that, we actually have the conveyor module that goes underneath the machine that takes the corrugated material, the trim, and deposits it into a waste bin. So let's talk a little bit about the PacSize global modular architecture. So feeding into all of those modules is part of the mechanical thought behind the global modular architecture. So again, the only part of the machine that's static is the machine frame. From there, we can actually take the additional modules and either add them or take them off, and get the customers exactly what they want. So if a customer doesn't ever envision that they are going to use printing, we don't necessarily have to add that module on. So we can then take it and pull that out of the corrugated pricing, and so the customer can actually see a lower price. The modules will be assembled in a module station in PTAB and tested individually as they come off of the line. So we expect as well that this is going to help with the reliability of the machine. This is going to make for a very solid and reliable machine. It also makes the maintenance of the machines easier. If you have a module that's defective or something's going wrong with it, we can pull the module off of the machine, replace it quickly and easily, and then send the defective module off to refurbishment to get fixed and redeployed. So the PacSize global modular architecture also plays into this thought of Industry 4.0, or you guys may have more commonly heard it called IoT solutions. The machine was designed to be an intelligent machine. So this means that we've got over 300 sensors within the machine that are all collecting and sending data via cloud technology, so very similar to what we're doing with PacNet Report. And it enables us to be able to take this data and predictively or proactively see when we start to see machine issues. So some of the common data points that we're going to be looking at are torque settings or acceleration speeds. If we start to see any of these values that are outside of the norm, then we can assume that something's going or about to go wrong. And so we can actually reach out to the customer or schedule a proactive PM in order to take care of the issues that they're seeing. So on launch of, or on the release of M1, we won't have these capabilities, but we are enabling them, and we are starting to collect data so that we can start to make sense of it and see where we need to start flagging items. So let's do a little comparison of the M1 versus our current EM technology, and just kind of see where we stand. So the M1 is going to be faster. Okay? Complex designs are going to complete quicker. This is largely in part to the multi-axis tooling that we have available. So think about maybe a box design that you've seen created at a customer site that had was complex in nature and maybe had cuts and creases that were very, very close together. Through this multi-axis tooling, we can actually place tool heads closer together, so it eliminates the need to backfeed. So we expect that we'll see some really great advances in the completing designs that are complex in nature. We expect a faster average throughput due to that, as well as the machine is just going to be quicker and faster than the EM line. And then all of this means that we also have less idle time due to the bell changes and any kind of waste management that an operator generally goes through. We've got more advanced functionality, such as the printing, as well as the cassette changer. The second long head axis and the side trim help us out a lot as well. And then waste handling. So we're also, the M1 machine is also going to be more reliable. This is through the use of all, our 300 plus machine sensors that are collecting data. It's going to help us to do better root cause analysis when we do see consistent problems across multiple customers. The machine analytics has also been enabled. So we're actually capturing that data and going to be able to make sense of it behind the scenes. The 45-degree feeding is also a key point to the reliability. If we can expect to feed the material through the machine better and easier, then we're going to have less paper jams. So all of these play into a more reliable machine. So as far as footprint, comparing to our old EM cassette changer, we've actually reduced the footprint by about 5.5 feet. So it's a smaller footprint. And then comparing a 2x2 M1 to an EM735, we have roughly the same footprint. Okay. But I want to point out that with this configuration, you get 5 meters of working width on the M1 versus the 3.5 meters on the EM735. One thing else that I'd like to call out here is that on day one, we will have the ability to place machines that are in a 2x2 configuration, a 2x3, or a 2x4 configuration. So either 4, 6, or 8 bale capabilities. So how about schedule? What's going on? So I'm sure a lot of you are aware that we had an M1 here at headquarters. It was set up for the Blue Sky presentation. I just want to say that the machine performed flawlessly. I want to do maybe a little quick shout out to all the people who made that possible. There was a lot of guys that were working in the background to make sure that everything was running smoothly. We've now packaged that machine up, and it will be going off to Chicago for the Pack Expo event, where we will be launching it globally next Sunday. So we're looking forward to that. We have a beta that is scheduled for sometime in November. Let's just say that. That's going to be for Vulcan and for Schildmeyer and EBU. And then after we get the betas out and have collected some information from there, we'll start into serial production in January. And we should see our first machines ready for install sometime in March, maybe early to mid-April. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Brian, and he's going to take us through the positioning of the M1.
As I talked about at the beginning of the presentation, although positioning I think is important, especially for sales team and the FCs to understand how we are positioning the M1. As you saw in the schedule, beginning in March, April, we'll have plenty of machines to install for customers, and we need to start the sales cycle now to making sure that we can launch the product and have a lot of demand for the product in that time frame. So the primary customers that we're looking for are new customers. We're not necessarily looking to swap or update our install base, but we're looking for net new customers who want this product. As I said before, we will be, since it is a premium, mid-size to high-end product, we will be charging a small premium for it, typically 5 to 10% in MSF cost above what a EM would be for like features. But what you do get on this product, because you can add more bales, like Braden talked about before, if you went from 3 to 4 bales or 4 to 5 bales, we're seeing anywhere from 5 to 10% of greater Z-fold efficiency, which could help pay for and justify that increased cost in the MSF, plus the labor savings that we see here. So the targeted customer should be a larger customer, greater than 2 million MSF. It also should be a customer who's looking to do things like print function either immediately or sometime in the future. And if he's a smaller customer, the premium will be higher. So from a sales engagement strategy, what we don't want to be doing is, what we do want to be doing, I should say, is not the don'ts. We always focus on what we do want to be doing. When we engage with our customers, we should be doing analysis, first of all, to find out what type of customer he is, and then we'll be presenting the best solution. So we should not be doing a smorgasbord offering where we offer the customer 2 or 3 solutions. So we should be looking at a new customer as, that's an M1 prospect or that's an EM prospect. We will continue to sell the EM 725 and 735 more as a cost-efficient entry products. And this is more of our premier product that will be around for the next 10 years. And so when you talk to your customers and you think he's an M1 prospect, you can go today, both in Nabu and EBU, you can price a deal beginning tomorrow, working through either Brady or Frank, and price a deal right away. So we only want one solution presented to our customer. And so at the end of the presentation, we're happy to take some questions. I wanted to get you guys some positioning statement there. So Braden, I'm going to turn it back to you.
All right. Thanks, Brian. So in order to properly arm you guys to go out and start positioning M1 with your customers, we're going to make some deliverables available to you. So on October 12th, we're going to have the following documents available for you on the sales app to start sharing out with your potential customers. So we'll have the sales sheet, we'll have a spec sheet, the sales overview and FAQ, as well as the machine layout. Additionally, we will make available for you guys the M1 master deck slide. So that will be a slide deck that you guys can use to create presentations for your customers. It'll contain a lot of the slides or all of the slides that we're showing here today. So it'll give you guys a good repertoire of items that you can share with your customers. We'll also be working on, in the coming months, the admin and operator training, and this will be provided through Bridge, and that'll be available in December. So as Brian kind of mentioned, we're still working through the final pricing of M1, so it's not available on the pricing tool today, but we expect to have that ready for you in the very near future. But we don't want this to stop you guys from going out and pricing new deals for customers. So if you guys have any pricing questions or need to get pricing for Nabu, please reach out to Brady Pettit. And for EBU, please reach out to Frank Winters. And with that, I will turn the time over to Justin to take us through PACnet 4.0.
Thank you, Braden. Hello, everybody. I'm super excited to come and talk with you today. So I've been at PacSci for about 1.5 years, and I would say over the past year, I keep getting asked the question, when is this new software going to be out? When are we going to see the new UI? I'm thinking you guys think I don't do anything here, but I do. I actually do stuff. So, as most of you know, we currently have 2 software applications that our customers can create cartons. One is called PacSize Suite. Other one's called PacNet Server. So what me and my team have been really focusing on is taking the best from both of those software platforms, as well as some additional key things that we've heard that customers need, and combining them into one powerful, intuitive, gorgeous software. So without further ado, that software is called PacNet. This is the new face of PacNet. This is the good from both combined into one. So I'm going to need some help from you guys in the audience. I know you're not a shy crowd. So you're going to see some words flash up on this screen. When you see those words, I want you to say them out loud. Ready? Ooh. That was good. Ah. Wow. Wow. Oh, that was nice, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll do ow and wow from the ceiling there. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks, Brian. So just to make sure that we were focused on the right things, that we were building the right software that our customers needed, we spent quite a bit of time visiting them both in the US and in Europe to really get a good idea of what they need from our software. We asked things like, well, what do you like about our software? What do you not? What are some things that you wish you could change? And so with that feedback, we saw that there were a few key things that we really need our software to focus on. One of those things is that it needs to be easy. It needs to be simple to use. It needs to make sense. It also needs to be easy to train. A lot of these customers have people coming and going constantly, and so the software has to be something where they can take a look at it for a day and be done and be trained. It also needs to have the features and the powers that our customers need. It also needs to work well with all of the hardware that we have, especially the new M1. And it needs to work for both of the customer groups that we have, both the distribution as well as the production customers. So one of my favorite things about PacNet, and one of the things that I think it makes it the easiest to use, is that we have brought all of the tools that the operators need up front. Some of the feedback that we heard was that the users had to bounce around from screen to screen and dig to really find the features that they need. And so a crucial thing for us was to bring all of those tools up, and so they don't have to leave that one screen. We also spent a lot of time making sure the user knew where they were and where they wanted to go, and how to get to where they wanted to go. The buttons as well, we needed to be clear. We needed to make sure that the button was the right size for your finger as you're touching a tablet screen, and that things that you can click are clear. I mean, as you can see on this screen, everything that you can click is blue, and so we wanted to make it really clear to the user how to use the application. We also spent a lot of time making sure that the preview of the carton we have is clear. We wanted it to be easy to edit, create, and send those cartons to the queue. Some key points that we learned. I think I skipped a slide, sorry. Yep, okay. So another thing I'd like to add is that we have dropped server from PacNet. It used to be called PacNet Server, now it's just currently PacNet. We felt that that was a better way for the direction that PacSize is headed. We also changed the name of the software platform to just PacSize, since that is our main brand, since that's who we are. There are plans in the future to drop PacNet from the rest of the software names. For example, we'll have DIM or Report or Cube, but dropping server from PacNet was the first step in that plan. A couple more key points. We had a successful beta. It was awesome. Some of the feedback we heard was that it was super easy to use and train. There's a story that you sales team can take back, but they actually had someone come in at night to work the grave shift. They had never seen the software, but they were able to hop in, turn it on, and get their work done. without being trained at all, and we thought that was just a huge win for us. Good news, pricing is the same. That's not going to change. It is available now. You can install it now. If you would like to install it with your existing customers or new ones, talk to your SE. I just want to give a big thank you to all those who were involved in this project of launching PACnet. It was, I mean, I'm just one person up here, but there are dozens and dozens of people, some of you in this room, some of them on the phone, who have worked so hard to make this come to life. I'm so excited, and it's been a 1.5 year process, but it's here, and I'm really stoked. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Braden's gonna come back up now too.
And I just want to give a big shout out to all of the people that have made M1 possible. PTAB has been working around the clock for the last few months to get us M1 in a timely manner. So please know, guys out there, that your efforts are not going unnoticed. We appreciate everything you guys are doing. So with that, we'd like to open up the floor for questions. Connor, have we had any comment or questions come up from the YouTube channel? Brian, this question was directed to you. It was the sales team needs to know why there's not a strategy to swap from an EM to an M1.
That's a good question. The M1 is, we are not replacing the entire EM line with the M line. The M line is a gear that is a premium product, and we're going to use it initially to focus on net new customers or net new revenues. So any new customer that can take advantage of the capabilities of who's larger, that's the focus point on it. Of course, we will look at some of our installed customers who want to increase the capabilities or increase their revenue because they have an increased volume or they need print functionality. But we remember those assets at our customers are our assets, so we will be replacing ourselves there. So we'll look at the install base of cassette changers over time and how we may replace that, and we'll look at sensitive competitive environments. But the primary focus is on net new customers and focusing on increased revenue from our customers with this product line. The EM 73525 will be around for a while for price sensitive entry products.
All right, any questions here in the room? Jared, go ahead. So Jared's got 2 questions. First one is, what's the max blank width that can fit on the machine? It's 95 right now, so it can do a blank width of 95 inches. And my estimation is that for 2 widths together, our total combined should be probably about 92 inches. So that information will be contained in the spec sheet. So once we have that finalized from Sweden, we'll have a definitive blank width for the machine. Second part. So Jared has his second question is around the tiling and being able to print on tiled boxes. I don't have an answer for that right now. I've heard some preliminary thoughts that yes, we can, but without having a definitive answer from engineering right now, I'm going to defer to, I'm not sure for now. But we will take all of the questions that are asked today, and we will add them to the FAQ document that will be available next week. Anybody else? Let's go with Thomas in the back. He might actually have an answer for us on that last question. So Thomas was asking about the volumes of M1s that we're going to be producing over the next several years. At this point, I don't think that I have that answer. We'll have to add that to the FAQ document. So, Rick, you had a question.
The question, I do not see volume being an issue initially for customers. I think we'll have plenty of volume in the first half of 2019 for customers, so for new customers who want them.
Rick's question is, will we be selling the ink? The answer is yes, we will be selling the ink. So there are 4 cartridges or 4 print heads that are on the print module, and the one thing that I really like about the module that we're using today is that the print head is actually integrated with the ink cartridge. So every time that you change out the ink cartridge, you are actually changing out the print head as well. All right, Joe Mahaney. So the question is, how do you set up the print job? So the printing capabilities are all done through I'm going to take a step back. The solution that we're using is with a company called Matthews Marking Solutions, and they have custom software that will be used to set up the label templates for the print job. From there, we can use a various image types that we'll be able to print onto the carton. Once the label template is created, then we actually do the placement of the print area through a PackNet workflow. So depending on the box design and the location of the print, we might have to work through separate workflows. So it's all customizable from there. Second question is, can it be variable? Yeah, it should be. It can be completely variable if it just depends on which workflow we identify we need to take.
So the hope is that someday we can incorporate that printing into PackNet, and so that the user doesn't have to deal with 2 different pieces, that all of it is done on that one screen. So we're not there yet, but that is the hope. I'm not sure when that will be, but that's my goal.
All right, Jared's got another question. So question is, could you print 2 inches of a logo and then backfeed and print the remainder of the second half of the logo, making for a 4-inch width? In theory, yes, we could do that. Right off the top of my head, the one problem that I would see with that is registration. Like being able to reverse feed and get it exactly where it needs to be. So our print quality might not be perfect, and for marketing or logo information, customers want perfect. So, but we are looking into additional technologies for a future printing module release that may help out with that. Okay, a couple of questions from online.
Hey, Braden, can I make a comment on print, please?
Yep, go ahead, Brian.
Print is a huge opportunity for PacSize, and this is our first printing solution. And I believe that we have a decades of experience of cutting and creasing and what those things are, and printing is a new adventure for us. So I think we're going to learn a lot, as we launch the M1 with print and people begin to use it initially, what they can and cannot do. And so over the upcoming months, I expect, almost monthly, updates upon the practicality of what we can do with release 1 versus future releases. So I think it's all great questions. I think this is a journey that we're going forward, but I think print is probably one of the biggest functions that we've done in a long time.
Thanks, Brian.
Back to you, Braden.
So Scott's question is, our print shows on multiple panels of the box, and is that a reality? The answer is yes. So long as those panels are all on the same axis or linear axis as the first print items. Justin's going to take us back to, I'm sure this is probably the image that Scott's referring to. So yes, you'll notice that on that top box, that's all in the same, 2-inch strip along the entire length of the carton. So that is completely possible. John Strobel asked, how will this work with the auto gluer, and will this also be a double-decker? Our anticipation is that yes, we will have a double-decker style auto gluer that will integrate nicely with the M1 machine. All right, so Matthew had a question about talking through the reliability of the machine, and if we remove a module off of the machine, that it seems like it won't function anymore. So again, the M1 machine was designed to be intelligent. If we remove a long head module from the machine and decide not to replace that module, the machine actually knows that the module has been removed. So it will account for all of the cuts and all of the creases that need to be done on the carton without that long head. Or if we have a sub module that we can replace the old module with, then the machine realizes that it's got a new module. It will go through a calibration and then starts into production as if nothing had ever changed.
So since we are making these modules kind of off the shelf, there's the hope that if one goes down, that we can get a new one in a pretty quick time, right? I mean, isn't that the whole theory?
Eric Figliomeni asked, does print slow down the machine? That's another one that I don't have a definite answer for right now. So Eric, we will get back to you unless Thomas can answer that.
But Braden, what we do know is that the goal of print is if it's part of the flow, if you're not backfeeding the machine, there's no additional time for cutting making the printing across the 2 inches. But every print job, depending upon the complexity, could vary if you have to slow down the machine. But the goal is for the majority of the print, it should not slow down the speed of the machine.
Okay, so we actually have one of our engineers here in the room who worked on M1, and he's telling us that the print module, when it's running, pushes material through the machine at 1 meter per second. And if you're not printing, that potentially the machine can actually push the corrugated material through the machine faster. So, Eric, I guess that the answer is that yes, if your machine is running at 2 or 3 millimeters per second, then it will need to slow down to 1 meter per second for the print. All right, question from Lubosh. So question is on PackNet. If he has an existing customer that's running 3.5, can he upgrade to 4.0 and the browser functionality? So the answer is yes. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get 4.0 out to as many customers as possible. I think that they're going to see a lot of improvements in functionality, and they're going to love the new UI. So. Pablo asked if this can be done remotely or if we need somebody to be on site, and I'm not sure about that, Justin.
I believe it can be done remotely. So, but all right, Ken, go ahead. Do you have a comment on that? So Ken's comment was, if they currently are on 3.5, then yes, the upgrade can be done remotely. If they are on a previous version than 3.5, there would need to be someone on site. Was that fair, Ken? For PLC and workflow optimization. So, great question. Thank you. Okay, so Connor wants me to make a quick plug for 4.1. In 4.1, we'll have the configuration screens all done. Currently, in this release of PackNet 4.0, the configuration screens look like they did in 3.5. We didn't focus too much in that area because customers, as a whole, don't spend a lot of time there. So, but in 4.1, which will be the next release, hopefully mid-December-ish, there will be the new and improved experience in the configuration pages. Any other questions on software while I have the microphone? So I know that the hotline has been trained. The FSCs, I believe, have. So yeah, I think everything's good to go. So yeah, and if there's any questions, please feel free to reach out or write to me, Justin.Floyd@PackSize, in case you don't know. So awesome. Any other software questions before I hand back to Braden? All right, Braden.
All right. Any other M1 questions? All right. Looks like we're good. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you for everybody that's remote. Appreciate your time, especially if you're in Europe. We know it's very late for you on a Friday evening, so please, everybody, enjoy your weekend, and thanks again.